So, what exactly should we be modeling in stage one? It's kind of the ultimate question caregivers and SLPs face right out of the gate. We know a child communicates via gestalts, those larger chunks of language or those really intonationally rich phrases. But when we're actually playing with them in the clinic or at home, what words should be coming out of our mouths? We want to give them language they can actually use in real life, but how do we pick the right phrases? Because really, everything we do comes right back to this one primary objective, the goal: increase the amount and variety of mitigable gestalts used spontaneously. Notice the emphasis on spontaneously. We aren't forcing compliance here, and we're definitely not drilling flashcards. The whole point is to build a really robust, flexible foundation of language through natural play and authentic connection.
All right, criteria number 1 is the Gestalt easily mitigatable.
Before we even think about modeling a phrase, we've got to run it through this filter. Mitigatable gestalts are basically phrases that can be broken down into smaller chunks or combined with other partial gestalts later in stage 2. The crucial thing here is we want to avoid totally fixed phrases or single words. We want to offer flexible building blocks. If we model something like peas and carrots, carrots and peas, or a really fixed media phrase like to infinity and beyond, it's going to be super hard for the child to break that down later. So let's look at what we should do instead. Let's get a snack. This is a perfect example of a highly mitigatable potential gestalt. Why? Because that chunk let's is incredibly versatile. When the child hits stage 2, they can easily separate let's and mix it with something else entirely, like let's jump or let's go. It gives them immediate, functional meaning, while basically acting like a secret grammatical puzzle piece for the future. Here's another amazing one. That's so silly. Think about how natural and conversational this feels during play. It doesn't feel like rigid speech therapy. It just sounds like you guys are having fun together. And grammatically, that so can easily be mitigated later to become that's so big or that's so loud. And this captures a longer but still totally mitigatable gestalt. Want to jump on the trampoline? It's a full, exciting idea that a child might naturally want to communicate. But later on, they can just take that wanna chunk and use it for literally anything. Want to eat, want to play. We're giving them the whole song now so they can remix the lyrics later on. Moving right along to numbers 2 and 3, make it meaningful and use a joint perspective. There's absolutely no one-size-fits-all list of gestalts. If a child has a special interest in trains, lean into it. Model phrases like want to play trains or let's go on the tracks. It has to be highly individualized to what they actually want to express. But here's a huge rule of thumb regarding pronouns. Gestalt language processors will often repeat your language exactly verbatim. Because of this, you absolutely want to avoid using the pronouns you and your. If you say you are hungry, they'll start saying you are hungry when they want food. And that can look like pronoun reversal, which unfortunately leads to inappropriate grammar goals from clinicians who might not fully understand stage 1. So instead, use the child's perspective, like I'm hungry, or even better, a joint perspective, like let's get a snack. Rule number 4, don't expand single-word gestalts. I know, this goes against literally everything we were taught in grad school. It's so tempting to take a single word a child says and just build on it. But for a stage 1 Gestalt language processor, we have to flip the script. If a child uses a single word Gestalt, say they use dog as a catch-all for all animals, you want to acknowledge them, of course, but avoid saying it's a dog. Doing that just reinforces that single word structure. Model something totally novel instead, like it's so big. That gives them a rich intonational phrase they can actually mitigate later. Number 5, cover a variety of communicative intents. Communication is this massive, complex web of human connection. It's about so much more than just requesting a snack or a toy, right? Before we even think about moving to stage 2, we need to aim for at least one gestalt per intent category. We want to model shared joy with things like jumping is the best. We need to give them language for commenting like that's silly. And don't forget transitions like what's next, protesting with don't like it, or getting help by modeling need some help. I really want to pull this specific example forward because it's just so incredibly vital. Stop now. We absolutely must give children the language for self-advocacy. Giving a child a mitigatable, easy-to-use phrase to set a boundary is honestly one of the most empowering things we can do in stage 1. It honors their autonomy, and it proves to them that their communication has real power. And finally, number 6, consider the length of the gestalts. We've always got to keep the child's age and any potential motor planning challenges right at the forefront. What works perfectly for an older kid might be entirely inaccessible for a toddler. So for a 2-year-old, model something like let's jump
instead of the much longer "let's go jump on the trampoline." Trimming down the length to just 2 or 3 words makes the language so much more manageable. It ensures the Gestalt is actually something they can capture, hold on to, and eventually say themselves.